It's bloody boiling here in Belfast right now. Boiling. So I just wanted to talk a little bit now about where the project's going to go. A little bit of an update on where things are right now. So my laptop come back today, which is awesome. So that means that I can set up the calls now to speak to the people that had requested that we could have a call. So I'm very pleased about that. So where we are, so we've only got a few more days now. It's Wednesday, so that's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and that's the deadline for submitting the stories. After that, I start editing, I start working on the book. There always needed to be a deadline. There always needed to be a sort of a cut-off point, because otherwise I'd never be able to publish the book. You know, if I left it open indefinitely, stories would continue coming in, and I'd start editing and formatting, and stories would continue. So when I seen the rate that the stories were coming in and how big the book was off the back of some of the requests where I asked for stories or where I asked for people to share information about their dystonia and things like that, when I seen how quickly they were coming in, I needed to bring the deadline forward. And, you know, the book would have just been too big. So, although there won't be any stories going in this book, I will continue to collect stories. I'm going to still leave that option open. But what I'll do is I'll share them on the website instead. And if at some point, you know, there are loads and loads of stories and I think there's enough content to perhaps put another book together, or like a volume 2 to the Warriors of Dystonia book project, then, you know, that's what I'll do. The calls that are going to take place, you know, as soon as they're set up, will probably be part of the pilot for my next project, which is the Warriors of Dystonia podcast. And now I've already secured space and set this up behind the scenes. I've set the accounts up. I've worked on podcasts in the past, and it's a natural progression for me to move from sort of a book medium to something like podcasts. In all of my previous projects that I've done personally, whether it be writing horror or comedy or some of the other things that I've worked on, there's always been an interest in me to sort of mix it up a little bit and start putting in, you know, YouTube videos and audio and things like that. So what I'm actually going to look at is the website will need to be changed completely. And there will still be the form for where you can share your story. But there'll be some new forms then for people to sort of request to be part of the podcast, basically. So what I'm thinking of is an interview sort of scenario where I probably speak very little. Maybe we'll have a little bit of a chat, but overall in the podcast, I'll speak very little. I'll do the pilot podcast by myself and share my story. And then what I'll be doing is pretty much gathering people's stories, but in a very different format. So in the podcast format, so through interviews. Again, you know, my whole idea is about awareness, and what I can actually do then is, if people are comfortable enough, because what I plan on doing these, or how I plan on doing these, is through either Skype or Zoom calls and recording them and taking the audio from those calls and putting them onto the podcasts. But if people are comfortable enough, then I'll also share the video of the discussion as well. So what my plan is there'll be a form which people can fill in saying whether they're comfortable or not, you know, to have the video go on YouTube. You can keep it simple. It'll be yes or no. And then, you know, setting up a time of when we can do it. So, you know, time zones and things like that are obviously very important. the calls I've got coming up now from people that are over the other side of the world to me. So I either need to do them quite early or quite late in the day. So, but that's not a problem. So that's where Warriors of Dystonia is going next. We'll be going down the sort of podcast path. We'll still be collecting the stories. We'll still be making stories visible on the website. But the closing date is purely for the book for now. And we'll see where we go. My plan is that if I have lots of interviews and we keep doing this and we're sharing it with friends and family and saying, here's the most recent podcast, the awareness will spread even further organically, and we can keep this going and make it into a much bigger thing. Look at more, additional guest speakers. Maybe I'll step away and look at other people who'd be interested in running the podcasts and things like that. So I've got a few different ideas to kind of grow things behind the scenes as well, so administrators and things like that. One of the things that, Warriors of Dystonia, the whole project for me is I'm not great with social media. I'm not great with sending out memes. I'm not really a massive fan of memes and, quotes and things like that, unless I've created them myself. But I know that they do mean a lot to people. So, at some point, perhaps I'll look at somebody to help behind the scenes administrate the social media side of things for me. Yeah. So that's stuff I'm going to put all together off the back of, editing and working on the book. So lots of things going on. Just did my first boxing in about 2 weeks, which was fantastic. Like I mentioned earlier on, it's really, really warm in Belfast right now. So I don't know what I was thinking. It nearly killed me. So it was a hot one, let's say. So, yeah, God, do you know what? I can't wait for my time off next week. Really looking forward to it. It's gonna be nice. Just have a bit of family time. Got my birthday Sunday, as I mentioned before. I don't know why. I just never really liked my birthday. Not sure why. Really don't know why. Perhaps somebody knows out there, why I possibly don't like birthdays. Could be some sort of a trigger. It's not necessarily because I've ever had a bad birthday. My birthdays have all been very memorable and amazing and lovely. And last year I sat and watched musicals all day. We watched Annie, Hairspray, things like that. I like my music and I like my musicals, and so it was fantastic. The previous year we went for a nice long walk. We always go for a long walk, but we went for a nice long walk around the castle. My mum was here last year, which was really nice as well. So I don't know why I don't usually like my birthday. Guess just a miserable fart. Anyway, take care.